I don't think I'm gonna play the whole thing, but there's apparently a rent a womb industry in California where Chinese people are hiring American surrogates and having them give birth to their kids in America. Then the Chinese couple comes over after the birth and takes the kid back to China with a U.S. passport. Listen to some of this.
The Chinese have a new way of creating U.S. citizens for their intelligence services and their military. It's dangerous. Chinese couples are hiring American surrogates and having them give birth to their kids in America. Then the Chinese couple comes over after the birth and takes the kid back to China with a U.S. passport. In the 2000s, everybody talked about pregnant women coming to America on tourist visas and then giving birth in the United States to a child with automatic American citizenship. It was called birth tourism. Now the Chinese families are taking it a step further. In the words of Brian Entin, renting a womb. News Nation senior correspondent Brian Entin is with us now for his exclusive reporting. Brian, is this a one-off thing or is this actually happening at scale?
No, it's happened tens of thousands of times across the United States. We learned when we went out to California, Leland. We went out to look into the birth tourism scheme because there's been a lot of recent busts involving the feds, even though it's been going on for a long time. And they've sort of got that under control, and it's against the law because these women overstay their visas. They come on a tourist visa, they stay, they have the baby, and then they go back to China. But while we were in California, we learned about this new rent-a-womb scheme, which is almost more alarming because it is not illegal. It's a loophole. This is actually one of the motels that we went into where some of the pregnant women stay. And basically with the rent-a-wombs, you've got these parents in China who spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's happening thousands of times. And they pay a woman in America that has the sperm and the egg from China inside of them. They use the American womb. The American woman gives birth to the Chinese baby. And then the baby gets the U.S. passport, but immediately goes back to China with no allegiance whatsoever to America, but is an American citizen. I spoke to the acting U.S. attorney in Los Angeles about this. They are very alarmed. Listen to this, Leland. What happens in 20 years? Is there any concern that they could become spies, that the Chinese government could use them somehow because they'll have the American passport?
Anytime that somebody has a U.S. passport, it means that they have access to the United States. They will give you the example. Child's born in Irvine in 2015, goes back and ultimately joins the Chinese military at age 20, having a U.S. passport. That provides a real national security asset to China and a real problem to the United States.
I mean, this really shouldn't be that surprising because countries are constantly looking at infiltrating other countries. And when you have loopholes set up in a place like the United States, the anchor baby type situation, it's gonna be exploited. This really shouldn't be that surprising. And China is constantly looking to infiltrate the United States. And honestly, we're trying to do the same thing. That's one of the things the JFK files kind of exposed. And if I have time at the end, I'll touch on that a little bit more. But I thought the story is just crazy that they're actually talking about this, and it's definitely something that needs to be looked at closer, investigated. I wouldn't be surprised if the Trump administration actually goes into shutting this off, cutting it off.